I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, Yahweh, which is the one true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one true name is Yahweh Shai. Bahashem, meaning coming in the name. Ba means coming in. Ha means the. Shah means name. Rakah means spirit. Kodash means holy. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. And shalom to you, sincere brothers that are scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to you, sincere sisters that are listening in silence, as the scriptures command you to do so. I am the brother Mashiach Razakah, and pretty much this lesson is going to be titled as, your life is nothing but a vapor, but mainly of Chuck Norris. All right, Chuck Norris is one of my childhood heroes. Bruce Lee is my hero, but Chuck Norris is one of them as well. It's Chuck Norris. I got so many heroes in martial arts. I got Chuck Norris. He's one of my heroes. Bruce Lee's one of my heroes. Bill Wallace is one of my heroes. Grandmaster Steve Muhammad, he's one of my heroes. Benny Urquidez is one of my heroes. Bolo Young is one of my heroes. I could go all day. I got so many freaking martial art heroes, that I look up to. But Chuck Norris was one of them. That man had 183 wins to his belts. 183 wins, 10 losses, and two draws. All right. That man was a 10th degree black belt in Tang Soo Do, and he was Chung Kuk Do. He was a 10th degree black belt. So like it. And then in Tang Soo Do, that man was a 9th degree black belt, bro. And he did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he did other martial arts. So Chuck Norris is one of my heroes. He even fought Joe Louis, not the boxer, but the martial artist that trained under Bruce Lee, Joe Louis. Chuck Norris went up against him as well. But sorrowful news, he passed away, I believe yesterday, out there in Hawaii. He was with his family. He passed away at 86. But, this is just a reminder out there, man, that, Chuck Norris, he lived this, he fulfilled his lot. He did his course, and he's back with the Lord, and, this is just a shocker to me, because I really admire Chuck Norris a lot. I used to play his quotes and post them all the time on social media. So we're going to get to Chuck Norris now. It says Chuck Norris hospitalized after medical emergency. It says Chuck Norris has been hospitalized in Hawaii. TMZ has learned. It says source were direct knowledge to us. Some medical emergencies occurred in the last 24 hours on the island of Kauai, the land that landed Chuck Norris in the hospital. It says, we do not know the nature of the emergency. It says, however, we are told Chuck Norris is in good spirits. So, he passed away. And Chuck Norris, he was still doing martial arts. Now, he wasn't acting anymore, but Chuck Norris was still in shape. He was still out there practicing and still training. At 86 years old, that man was still training, bro. Still training, So this is why I say out there, you guys out there, if Chuck Norris was 86 years old, still training, still flexible as hell, still doing everything, flipping people. This man was fighting like he was in his prime still. Chuck Norris still had it. So, there's no excuse to not get in shape out there. That's why me as a martial artist and a track athlete, I constantly do my hobbies and I train. Because, Chuck Norris, he did his thing. He's one of the motivators that I always watched. It says, whatever happened must have occurred quickly. It says, because we were told on Sunday that he was training on the island. It says, a friend of Chuck Norris is on the phone with him, and we're told Chuck was in good spirits and cracking jokes. It says the 86-year-old just had a birthday earlier this month. It says he marked the occasion by posting a video on social media showing him sparring with a trainer. See? And Chuck Norris was still training. And he's 86 years old, bro. That's 86 years old and you still training, bro? Like, he was an Israelite anyway. For those of you that don't know, Chuck Norris was an Israelite. He was a Gadite. His father was, I believe, was Cherokee Indian. Chuck Norris was an Israelite. So, yeah, he may look like an Edomite on the outside, but Chuck Norris was an Israelite. He was a Jake. That's why he had that flavor, man. He was so talented. All right, so, he passed away. But we're going to get some scriptures out. So, Lord willing, this lesson's edifying. This is Ecclesiastes 12:7. It says, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was. So this body that you look at on a daily basis, you're born in, you come out, you born into the world in this body through your mother. You grow as an infant, as a toddler, as a child, as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult, as an elderly, as a middle-aged man, as an elderly man. Okay, and once that time hits, this body, this flesh turns to dust, and it goes back to, the spirit goes back to the Lord, man. Okay, it says, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto the Most High who have gave it. See, so the spirit goes back to the Lord. So Chuck Norris, he's back in the spiritual realm. He's in the spiritual realm, man. Okay, he's back with the Lord. Okay, now Chuck Norris, he didn't know the truth, right? But he was an Israelite, though. That man was an Israelite. He was a Jake. He was a speckled bird, man. Chuck Norris, he was an Israelite. You know, so, you know, this is, you know, in the flesh, it's bad news, but this is a good thing, though. You know, dying isn't a bad thing. You know, he lived his life out, and he finished his course. You know, and Chuck Norris, you know, his talents will not be forgotten, because he had talents. This is Isaiah 45:5. It says, I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God with me. There is no God beside me. I gird thee, though thou hast not known me. It says, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. Verse 7, for I form light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So judgment is of the Lord. Okay, and Chuck Norris, that was judgment. Okay, he didn't do anything wrong, right? But it was judgment. The Lord took him out of here. Right? 1 Samuel 2:6, the Lord killeth and he maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and he bringeth up. So the Lord kills. All right. Now Chuck Norris, you know, the Lord took him out of here. He finished his course. Each and every one of us in this lifetime, in this mortal flesh, in these corruptible flesh that we live in daily, we eat, sleep, and use the restroom, our bowels and stuff. We brush our teeth. We take care of this body. We wash it. It's dying off every day anyway. The older you get, the more you dying off. This body is breaking down. The older you get problems with this body. This body begins to break down, man. All right? You're dying every day. Every second you're dying. This body is dying. Okay? We just live in this vessel that the Lord give us for a particular time, and then that's that. This is why you gotta cherish your moments of being on the earth. Okay? Because it's not promised. Right? It says Deuteronomy 30:15, see, I have set before thee this day life and good and death and evil. So the Lord set before us this day life, good, death, and evil. See, we get life. We're born on the earth, right, through our mother, right, through our parents, through our father, through our mother, right? We're on the earth. We live on this earth through the times, right? And then this body decomposes, right? This body deceases, and the spirit goes back to the Lord, okay? This is Deuteronomy 30:19. It says, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, thou both die and thy seed may live. See, so we got blessings and curses as Israelites, right? The Lord set before us life and death. You see that? So again, we born on the earth, we live on the earth, we grow on the earth, we get old, and we die, and our spirit goes back to the Lord. Life and death. So we have life and death. Life and death, man. And you can't escape death. You can't cheat death. You can't escape death. When it's your time to go, it's literally your time to go. You can't escape it. You can't tell the Lord, I don't want to go. When it's time to go, the Lord's calling you back. He calls you back. It says blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, thou both die and thy seed may live. So the Lord set before us life, good, death, and evil, man. You see that? This is Psalms 78:49. It says, he cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them. You see that? And the Lord, he sends the death angel after you. Okay? The Lord sends the death angel after you, man. He can do that, and he can do that. Right? Ecclesiastes 3:2. It says, a time to be born. You see that? We're all of us was born in this world. Right? We all was born on the earth. Right? We all were born in these mortal flesh. Right? It says a time to be born and a time to die. So we have a time to be born, and we have a time, a date, an expiration date when we die. right? It says a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. So there's a time and a purpose and a moment for everything because the Lord set it up that way. The Lord already set it up. That's why, again, our lots, the Lord already has that set up. The Lord already has it written out when you're going to fucking die. The time, the Lord has all that already set up. The scary thing is that you don't know when that time is. The Lord knows already. You don't know when your time is. And that's the thing. This is why we cherish our moments as we dwell on the earth. Right? Proverbs 27:1, it says, boast not thyself of tomorrow. And none of us should be doing that. Not even myself. You know, like even for myself today, you know, I don't celebrate it, but today's my birthday. You know, I'm 34 years old today. You know, I'm blessed and grateful to the Lord. He allowed me to live another year. You know, I have outlived a lot of my childhood friends. A lot of my childhood friends died at 20. One died at 13. One died at fucking 20. Right? I had another friend that died at 15. I outlived a lot of my friends, and that's a blessing. I know I'm doing something right. If the Lord is still allowing me to still be on the earth breathing and still being able to preach and teach his word, man. That's why I don't boast of nothing, because it's not promised. It says, boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. And you see that? That's why we don't boast of tomorrow, right? We live day by day, right? That's why we say Lord willing, right? We always say Lord willing. This is James 14:4, or James 4:14, Salakia. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. You see that? For what is your life? It is even a vapor. See, your life is nothing but a vapor. Okay? You could be here today and be gone tomorrow. You could be here today right now and be gone by tonight. You don't know. It says that appear for a little time and vanishes away. You see that? So you don't have no control over your life. You don't have. That's why the scripture said, Deuteronomy, it says no assurance of thy life. But roughly paraphrasing, you don't have insurance of your life. So you don't know if you're going to be here on the earth. You don't know if you're going to last on the earth. You don't know if you're going to be here long. That's why we don't boast of tomorrow. But I had to, go into this here because this is really a shocker to me because, I always, share Chuck Norris all the time on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. You know, he's really one of my heroes. That man has 183 wins to his belt. 183 wins to his belt, bro. As a black belt, 183 wins, 10 losses, and 2 draws. You know, Chuck Norris was very talented. He was an actor, but he also was a professional fighter. And he did jiu-jitsu too. For those of you that don't know, he did do jiu-jitsu. You can look it up. People talking about, oh, he didn't. No, he did do it. Look it up. Taekwondo wasn't he did Taekwondo too. That wasn't his only art. That man did Chung Kuk Do, right? He did Chung Kuk Do. He did Tang Soo Do. He did not Jeet Kune Do. He did Jiu-Jitsu, right? He also did Taekwondo. He did other martial arts as well. Chuck Norris was a very talented Israelite, and he was an Israelite. He was Cherokee Indian. He was a Gadite. Okay, so, hey, this is, some shocking news. But, hey, he's back with the Lord. Chuck Norris is back with the Lord. He finished his course. Whatever his lot was, he completed his lot. All right? Yeah, he wasn't in the truth, but, hey, he was here for a moment, and now he's back in the spirit with the Lord. So, hey, Lord willing, this lesson's edifying. I just had to do a lesson on this. I'm on a plantation. And, yeah, man, Chuck Norris is gone, man. So, R.I.P. to Chuck Norris, one of my heroes, man. I'm really surprised. This is really shocking news. I seen it yesterday that he was in a hospital, but I thought maybe, he was going to pull through. But obviously he didn't. He passed away. So, hey, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying, man. I want to give our honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashem HaKakodash. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. But, hey, man, you got to cherish your moment. Because cherish your moment, man. Cherish your moment, your time. Thank the Lord, man. And keep it pushing. Shalom.